And today we are going to take a look at Transformers Generations Leader Class Jetfire. And this figure in person, in robot mode, is a impressive, imposing figure. I measured off camera and he stands from the bottom of his feet to the top of his head, 8.5 inches tall. If you take into consideration the tops of the boosters here, it measures over 11 inches tall. So a really impressive figure here in robot mode. Let me go ahead and start off with some size comparisons. Then I'll get into the accessories, and then finally, of course, into the transformation and then jet mode. On the left here is Generation 1 Jetfire. On the right is Classics Jetfire. Here is Jetfire next to Masterpiece Optimus Prime and Masterpiece Ultra Magnus. Here is Jetfire next to Movie Line Leader Class Starscream and Animated Leader Class Megatron. Okay, so let me go ahead and talk about the weapons. These weapons, as you can see, are chromed with the red chrome. I have mixed feelings about that. On the one hand, I do like chrome. I think, however, I prefer the Takara version, which is going to come out, which is basically everything that's chrome here is going to be just a regular flat red. So I think that looks better. I think the chrome is a little bit gaudy, a little bit excessive. So fortunately you can remove these chrome bits. You can see he's got a whole bunch of chrome here in the back on these boosters. So let me go ahead and remove that and just take them off, and we'll see and talk about what we have left here. So it does come with this gun. It does come with a missile, but I've since lost that missile. No big deal. Take off the guns from the side of his legs here. And finally I'll go ahead and remove the boosters here. And they just tab into these slots here. Alright. So what we're left here is with, in my opinion, a better looking Jetfire. I would like to have the weapons, and that's why I think I prefer the Henkei or the Takara version with the non-chrome red bits instead of these chrome flashy bits. There are some issues when you take off the weapons from the side of the arm. You can see there's this kind of hollow plastic. I don't know if that was necessary. All they needed to have is just a peg hole on the side of the arms. I really don't know why that is. It's unfortunate. If it was on the inside of the forearm, maybe it wouldn't be so bad, but it's on the outside. It looks a little bit cheap on Hasbro's part. But those are pretty much the negative things about robot mode. Let's move on to the lot of positive things about this figure. One thing I talked about before is just how high it is, how tall the figure is in robot mode. One of the things I do love about this figure is you look at the head sculpt, and it's kind of got that G1 type of like mono eye look. If you don't like that, simply take it off. You can remove the faceplate here with the horns or the antenna, and you've got what, in my opinion, is the better head sculpt, which is how he looked in G1 with more of a face as opposed to a robot face. It's nice you have the option though, and you can see the visor itself is translucent plastic, so really cool. So that feature I do like a lot. The sculpt is really nice. If we take a look at the chest here, you can see a lot of nice detail in the chest with that clear blue plastic, the Autobot symbol underneath, and then there's silver painted bits there, just more mechanical detail. So really nice. Alright, so articulation for Jetfire here in robot mode. Starting with the head, it actually has articulation at the base of the neck, which is a swivel, and then the actual head itself appears to be just on a kind of a swivel joint itself. There doesn't appear to be a ball joint there that I can see anyways. But you can see it's got a wide range of motion, up and down, left and right. It's all good. Shoulders, bicep swivel, bend at the elbow, of course. There's no articulation at the wrists. There is no waist articulation due to how the figure is designed. Got the little ratchet sounded joints there at the hips, swivel at the thigh, that much of a bend at the knee, and just a motion like this for the ankles. It's not a ball joint. It's just the best way I can describe it is just a swivel, just forward and backwards. So that's all you get. I think he's got enough articulation for what he needs to do. I mean, he's not like a super agile, super dexterous character. He's a big, bulky jet former, so don't think he needs a lot of articulation. I think he's got plenty. Would be nice to have a swivel at the wrist, though. That would have been kind of nice to have, but even so, I don't really miss it too much. Okay, so let me go ahead and transform this into jet mode. Alright, transformation into jet mode. So what I did off camera is I put his faceplate back on, or his optional head sculpt back on. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the shoulders here and detach them from the side. They actually peg into two places. On the side there, you can see there's a slot there, and actually on the back, on his wing, on either side, there are slots. So it slots into the side of the actual torso and onto the wing. So I'm going to go ahead and remove those. Then I'm going to take his torso here, and you can see it kind of slots in place there. I'm going to get this out like that. I'm going to take the arms and the shoulders, bring them up like this, and there's actually a peg, and these will peg together like that. Now I'm going to bring down the arms and rotate them such that I have this side exposed, because the weapons are actually going to go back in place once he's fully transformed into jet mode. So, actually, let me leave these up for now. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and take the legs here, separate the waist actually, or the pelvic area, bring these back around like that. And eventually, let me go ahead and collapse the legs, by the way, sorry. Or collapse the feet, rather. What's going to happen is there's a, you're going to rotate the leg like this. So now I should be able to put these arms down. And I'm not going to peg in the legs yet, quite yet, because there has to be some things done with the actual, these two pieces of plastic here. Coming back here, take that like that, just leave it out like that for now. This back section here goes on a hinge and forms the back of the jet. And now we come to the difficult part of the transformation. What I've done here, just off camera, is I arranged these pelvic pieces here that are attached to the legs in this orientation. So just kind of make note of that, how they're angled, because it's important, because what we're going to do next is we're going to take these flaps here, open them up, and this whole assembly here is going to kind of fold in on itself. And as part of that process, there's these channels here, you can see on either side. They got to fit around the tops pieces right here where my index fingers are. So they got to go right in there, and if you don't get it just right, it's a pain in the you-know-what to get that to work out. So I think I've got it such that it should work. So let's whoa, that popped up. But you can see it's got to go and attach right here, and then what you can do at this point is bring them up actually a little more on the side there, see, and then these panels will actually lock down there, forming the front of the jet. Let me go ahead and see if I can put this back on. This is supposed to remain on. They tell you to keep it on during the transformation. So there we go. And then take this section here, and this should all snap into place. And then Lastly, this is the last thing I do, is I tab in the legs. You don't want to tab in the legs until you get the pieces here adjusted just perfectly so that everything will actually align up properly. Once you get the right feel for it, it's not a big deal, but the first couple of times I tried, I was getting frustrated, but finally I figured out these have to be at a certain angle to allow that to happen. So just keep trying until you get it. Is the best advice I can give you. Bring these little winglets up here, and there basically is the jet mode. I think I got everything all tabbed into place. I think so. So like here's like the top-down view of it. Here's the front, side profile, the rear looking really cool, undercarriage. There is a landing gear at the front here. The plane does roll really well on that landing gear. So now what we can do is we can take our weapons and start plugging things in. So let me start, I guess, with the boosters here. So I think these have to go out to the side to accommodate the boosters. So let me line those up and get those in place. Yep, that went in. Like that. And then the leg pieces, or what were the leg pieces for leg mode, we'll peg into the same place they did in robot mode. There, like that. The handgun, or not the handgun, but the blaster in robot mode, I believe pegs in the front here. And then you got these weapons here. Actually, I was wrong. I mean, you could plug these in here if you wanted to, like that. That's certainly something you could do, but I think it makes more sense to have them out in the wings. So let me unpeg these here and peg them over here. But you can certainly do whatever you want. It's just a matter of preference, of course. Let me fully extend out the wings and get the gun straightened out. So there you go. There's like him all weaponed up. It looks okay, except for this front gun. I don't really like the way that looks. It just sticks out there. But that's really what it's meant to be, is set up like that. So you got this really chromed out, armored, and armed jet mode. Pretty cool. But I just don't like that. It bothers me. Remove that. So yeah, the weapons do look good. The boosters look awesome. Again, I don't like this front weapon plugged into here, but that's just me. Again, as with robot mode, same here in jet mode, I don't like the red chrome. It's just my personal opinion. I think I would have preferred the Takara version, which is just a flat red for the boosters and the weapons. But you know, it doesn't bother me that much that I want to actually go out and spend extra money for a Takara version of Jetfire. So pretty pleased with it all overall. So for a size comparison, I really unfortunately don't have a Leader or Voyager class Jetformer in jet mode to show you, but I do have here, of course, the Classics jet mode. This happens to be a Thundercracker, but I think most people have or seen or have experience with the Classics Deluxe Seeker Jet, so you can kind of get an idea of how big this jet here is in jet mode for Jetfire. Overall, a fantastic figure. I do really like it a lot and can recommend you pick it up. There are some issues, and one of them is a personal issue, being the fact that the boosters and the weapons are in this really gaudy red chrome. However, I can live with it. I don't feel like I need to go out and buy and spend more money to buy the Takara version with the flat red. I think the Takara version looks better with that flat red on the boosters and on the weapons, but that's just my opinion, and it's something I can live with. It doesn't bother me too much. The other issue that some people may have noticed is I don't know if Jetfire here scales very well with like Masterpiece Optimus Prime. I think like in the cartoon, Jetfire was significantly taller than Optimus Prime, and in figure format I don't know if that's a correct scaling. So it may not be the perfect size / height or scale for a Masterpiece line, but I think it's probably close enough. that you can display the figures side by side and they look pretty good anyways, even though they may not have realistic, or they may not have heights as you see in the actual cartoon, you know, size-wise. Alright, well, thanks for watching. This has been my review of Transformers Generations Leader Class Jetfire.